Okay, welcome to this next video. We're going to be looking this time at histograms, and which is part of our statistics and probability unit. Alright, so your learning goal for this one is that students can create histograms from a data set, and at the end of this you want to be able to construct a histogram from a frequency table and interpret the information from a histogram. Okay, which way do you lean? Okay, so remember we've spoken before about this issue with the different shapes of graph that you can end up with. Okay, and so you can get these symmetric ones, and this is sort of like a normal distribution, and a lot of living systems will end up with that kind of shape. Okay, and so the average is this middle part, and it's sort of like tails away with the taller people and the shorter people, for example. Okay, you can get other data sets that are skewed right, so you've got some outliers out here. Okay, skewed left with the outliers on the other end towards the left of the graph. These bimodal ones, which means that you've got sort of two peaks in the data set. Multimodal, lots of different ones, and symmetric, again, sort of symmetric in a different way, where just all the data is sort of consistent throughout the whole set. Okay, all right. So a couple of key ideas. So a histogram is very similar to something you would have seen before, which is a column graph, and it's used to display grouped data, where you're sort of putting things into particular categories of number. Okay, so you're using histograms with numbers and things. All right. Now, column height corresponds to the frequency of that class interval, so that's the group that you've created. If the data is continuous, this is really important, there is no gap between the columns. Okay, so you might see some histograms, so if it's like this, then this would be not continuous data. Okay, so discrete things like integers or something where there isn't anything in between, so numbers of apples or something like that. Okay. Now, with these, the class intervals are typically the same size. You can have ones that are different, but for a basic histogram, you leave your class intervals the same. Okay, so remember these gaps here, this is your class interval. Okay, now a data set can be normalized though and shown as a percentage frequency histogram. Okay, so it's a little bit different to your normal frequency histogram. Okay, and you can use it to compare different sets of data and things because it's normalized to a percentage rather than the data points themselves. Okay, all right. So an example. Here's the cost that we've got 15 students paid for the textbook, 101, 107, 121, etc. So there's 15 different data points here. Okay, now usually you will create a frequency table for this first. Okay, and so I've got one here nicely. All right, and so we've got cost interval. We've broken them up into 10, so 80 to 89, 90 to 99, 100 to 109, etc. So you sort of look at this, find your lowest, highest values. There are some formulae out there to help you to construct your class intervals if you're interested in looking at those kinds of things, or you can sort of just work it out with the numbers you've got once you've had a look. Okay, so you should use really a tally column in here to tally these up. I'm not going to make you watch me slowly tally these up, but we've got a frequency here, so there were 2 in this category, there are 3 of this category, 6 here, 3 and 1 there. Okay, and so now we're going to transfer that onto here. So let's make what we got, 1 there, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is our 80 to 89. This is our 90 to 99. This is our 100 to 109. 110 to 119. And 120 to 129. Okay. Now we've got a frequency going from 1 to 6. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so our first one, now I haven't put this all the way down because our class intervals don't go all the way down to 0. So you can put in there like the little broken sort of thing to show that the graph does keep on going down to 0, but we're not going to get there with the data we've got. Okay, so 80 to 89 goes up to 2. So we draw our box up to 2 like that. 90 to 99 is 3 tall. You can do these different colors if you wish. to sort of, especially if you're not sure whether the data is going to be hard to understand if everything's sort of all the same. Okay, 100 to 109 is 6. So here, 110 to 119 is 3. Let's go back to our blue. And 120 to 129 is just the 1. Okay, so there we have a simple frequency histogram for that set of data. Okay, when you look at it, you go, oh, that's actually it's nice and symmetric. So we've got sort of nice peak going up and then going back down again, and there's no major outliers. Got a nice single mode here in the middle. So you look at that and you say, yeah, that's pretty normal. There's an average amount of money that kids are paying for their textbook. Okay. Let's have a look at a different example. So now we're going to calculate our percentage frequencies. Okay, so remember, you calculate your percentage will be equal to the frequency divided by the number of values there are. Okay, so our frequencies, remember, were 2, 3, 6, 3, and 1. So for this first one, this will be 2 over 15 because there were 15 students in this data set. And that gives us 13%-ish, okay? These are all sort of rounded. So that's 13%, this one's 20%, this one's 40, this one's 20 again, this one's 7, okay? So they should add up to 100, which makes sense, okay? Because that's your whole data set then. Okay, so we're gonna break up this x-axis again into our 5 different class intervals. So 80 to 90, 89, 90 to 99, 100 to 109, 110 to 119, 120 to 129. Now this time we've got up the side 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. Okay, so our first one goes up to 13%. So that's up to about here-ish. There's our first interval. The next one's up to 20%. Next one's up to 40. Then up to 20 again. And then lastly to 7. Okay, so as you can see, we've got the same kind of graph, but we could get this histogram and compare it with another one from a different set of data without worrying about the numbers of things that were bought. So let's say you wanted to compare it against a data set of 150 students who bought the textbooks. You couldn't compare the histograms if you just left them as frequency ones. You need to normalize them by making them a percentage frequency histogram, then you can go at that. So if you have a look from the different ones, you'll be able to see the same kind of shape, but it's now normalized. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. The way to get better at these histograms is just practice, practice, practice. Draw a whole bunch of them, draw a whole bunch of frequency tables, and you'll get awesome at them. All right, thanks for watching.